days, it seems so easy. From start to finish, then we do it again. But all the time, the road's uneven, and something's holding me down. I just can't win. Complete confusion covers my senses, and I can't find my way out. Which way to go? It's time to kick things into overdrive. It's time to take a leap of faith to the unknown. I wanna fly and touch the sky. I wanna circle round and do it again. And when I die, just please remember I did it my way till the end.
Hey, this is Steve from the band Pump 5. You're rocking with Blevins Nation.
Welcome back to all my Blevins Nation listeners. Today, our guest is Eric Stacy, original bass player of Faster Pussycat. That's right. Bathroom Wall, Poison Ivy, House of Pain, Babylon, Slip of the Tongue. Man, the list goes on and on and on. But these days, he's banging on the bass for the Jet Boys. That's right, Jet Boys, who are Jet Boys, should I say. Sit back, hold tight, and open up your ears, because the revolution starts now. This is Chris with Blevins Nation, and we're talking with Eric Stacy, of bass player for Jetboy. Also, back in the day was with Faster Pussycat and some other big bands. So anyway, Stacy, how's it going? Eric.
It's going good, thank you. Yeah.
Sorry about
right.
that.
It's all good.
Called you by your
Eric.
You got two first names.
Okay. Hey, you. I know, right? Hey,
Nothing
you
wrong
word.
with that.
Hey, shithead. Been called worse.
I hear you. Me too. Well, yeah. So how's things going?
It's going good, man. It's actually today's the first quiet day after a busy week. I guess it was early Saturday morning. We were off to Denver. We did this Wolf Fest thing Saturday night in Denver. It was a bunch of, I guess it was like a 2-day festival with a bunch of bands. I guess Friday night, I guess my old band Faster was there Friday night with some other bands, and then Saturday night was, I guess it started like noon with some other bands, but I know that we played in Pretty Boy Floyd and Live to See Treachery, and so we were off to Denver Saturday for that Saturday night, and then flew back to LA late Sunday. LA. What am I saying? Hello, Eric. You live in Vegas. Flew back to Vegas Sunday night, and then got in a car Monday to LA, and spent Tuesday out in LA shooting the video for the first single off the new record, which I'm sure we'll get into in a moment.
Oh, yeah.
So did that all Tuesday till midnight, and just got back to Vegas late last night. So
okay.
Been busy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Staying busy.
Yeah. Well, living the rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's
there
good.
You go.
It's good that you can still do that. A lot of guys out there
man.
don't. So yeah, give me a little. Give everybody a little bit of background on you. I know you started with. Did you start with anybody before Faster Pussycat, or was that the original thing? Or?
No, actually, before Faster, I started on drums when I was 7 and 8, and started bass at 13. But as far as like bands people may or may not know, my first band that actually played out clubs and stuff was a band called Champagne. That was early, like when I was like 14 or 15, and that band had one guy on guitar that people may know, a guy named August, who later went on to be the lead guitar player in a band called Johnny Crash that was on CBS.
Okay.
And after Champagne, did a number of LA bands, and met a guy named Greg Darling, and Greg and I put a band together called Darling Cool. And at the time, we were playing around Hollywood, and got noticed by Vicki Hamilton. This was like the early to mid 80s. Got noticed by Vicki, who at the time had already managed and gotten Stryper signed and worked with Motley Crue as a publicist, and had gotten Poison signed, and a bunch of bands like that. And at the time that she noticed Darling Cool, she was working with Guns N' Roses as well.
Well, that's good company right
and
there.
So, yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, she was definitely the person to, if you were going to catch anybody's eye. So, and Darling Cool, after I left the band, they actually went on, and she got them a deal with Polygram, and they put a couple records out on Polygram. A lot of people still know them. Some people don't. Some people do. I was reading an interview with Duff McKagan once where he was like, yeah, one of the greatest records that nobody knows of, Darling Cool. They changed it from Darling Cool to Darling Cruel after I left, but they were on Polygram. So anyway, Vicky was managing us, and then managing Faster Pussycat at the same time, getting Guns their deal, and then when Kelly, who was in the band before me, when Kelly Nichols got hit by a car and his leg was all messed up and shit, I got the call, could I, fill in for him for a while, and initially it was like 2 weeks, and it went into 2 months. So I was playing with Darling Cool and Faster, and actually there was a few gigs I played with both of them at the same gig, but anyway, so that's how I ended up in Faster, and then originally it was just 2 weeks, 2 months, and he had a really bad compound fracture, so it just kind of led to 6 months, and then it kind of just led to he's not getting well, and at the time that I was with him was when Elektra decided they wanted to sign them, and I just got asked to join the band, and so I left Darling and went on Faster and had everybody knows about with them, and then which we can talk about. But after Faster, when I left Faster, I started a band called the Rhythm Slaves with Brian Damage from Kix. Right when Brian left Kix, I was leaving Faster, and Brian was leaving Kix, and we had a band. It was me and Brian Damage and Pat Muzinga, the drummer from Junkyard, and some other guys, and we were managed by a lady named Donna Kroll-Brulé, who was an attorney at Polygram, so we got real close to a deal with Polygram. And I spent 2.5 years in a band called the Bird Dogs with Ricky Bird, who was the original guitar player for Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And prior to that, after Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, he had taken Mick Ronson's place with the 800 Band. And then after that, he was with Roger Daltrey, writing and touring and recording with Daltrey. And so I did that for 2.5 years and came back to L.A. And I guess the next band of note that people might know would be Bubble, which was a band that was myself, Brent Muscat from Faster, the drummer from Dogs D'Amore, Bam, and his wife, Cher Peterson, who's the bassist for Vixen. So we had a 4-piece called Bubble, and we released a record that a lot of people heard called How About That, and toured Japan and did pretty well over there. And then after that, I guess the next thing that people would know about was I got asked to tour with Bullet Boys. So I spent some time with them. I did a couple U.S. tours with Bullet Boys, and then so after Bullet Boys, I can't remember exactly what I did after Bullet Boys. I played with some other bands.
Did you ever do a stint with Enough's Enough?
No, no. I know those guys.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
My connection with the connection with Enough's Enough might be actually, which I just remembered, after Bubble. Right after Bubble, I left Bubble. I started my own band called Super Cool, and it was basically my band, my songs and stuff. But the lineup for that band was myself, Stacy Blades on guitar, who people later got to know as the guitar player for LA Guns.
Right.
And he had just left Rock's Gang and moved to LA from Florida. And on drums, we had Vic Fox from Enough's Enough. So that might be where people saw my name, Enough's Enough, tied together. So it was me and Stacy and Vic.
Okay.
And we released a record and toured Japan and did pretty well. So, in one way or another, I've always had bands that have done things and put out records and toured, some more well-known, some lesser known. Okay. And now I'm in Vegas. I moved out here 3 years ago to work with Brent Muscat, and we were doing a thing called the Vegas All Stars, and playing places
Okay.
like the Hard Rock. And
I've heard of that.
Basically a jam band. It was me. Yeah, it was me and Brent. And we had Todd Kearns, who plays bass with Slash's band, doing a lot of the shows with us. And Scott Coogan, who plays drums with Ace Frehley. And you see in Brides of Destruction, would come up and jam with us. And it was kind of just like whoever wanted to come up and play with us out here in Vegas. There's a lot of players out here now. So
Yeah.
so that's
That's cool.
in a long nutshell. That's that's the career in a long nutshell. And then I started playing with Jetboy about 2.5 years ago. I've known them my whole life. Obviously, they're like one of the 4 bands that, in my opinion, they're one of the 4 bands that kind of goes back to making that whole mid to late '80s LA Hollywood kind of hard rock glam revival, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was like pretty much like, Jetboy, LA Guns, Faster Pussycat, and Guns N' Roses that kind of started that whole mid '80s, thing that so much sprouted from. So, even though, they were the one band of the 4, unfortunately, that kind of, had bad luck and record companies didn't always get behind, and for one reason or another, they were one of the 3 bands that kind of had the roughest of the road. But my respect for them just goes back to the fact that they were there in the beginning, that whole thing, and they're still plugging along now. So, and I've known them since then. So, they're one of the bands that I would definitely. There's not many bands out there now that I would, put all my time and energy into, and have a real relationship with. And these guys are definitely, one band that I, would go to war with and shed blood with for sure.
Okay. Now, are you a permanent fixture with them? Or are you a hired gun for them, or how's that?
No. Basically, I got a call 2.5 years ago from Billy, just saying that the bass player they had couldn't do it anymore, and Billy and I had discussed for a number of years prior to that if the opening came open, if the bass slot came open, that I thought it would be a mutually beneficial thing, that me being the band could help them, and that their name could kind of help me keep my name out there, whatever. And so, no, I'm definitely not a hired gun. I mean,
okay,
at least
awesome.
from what they say, you're a member of the band. We love you, and you're a brother and a member of the band. And
Well, there you
I've
go.
always been treated as such.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw Jetboy play in. I'm actually from Jackson, Mississippi, but I saw them play. God, I want to say it was 86, 87-ish. Open up for Striper at the Jackson Coliseum. So I have seen them. I think that's the only time I actually got to see them. Not a lot of bands came through, Jackson. So,
Yeah.
but you've mentioned a few people that I've actually had on here, like Stacy Blades. I've had him on for an interview, and let's see. Well, you didn't mention him, but you mentioned the guy, the drummer from Enough's Enough, and I actually had Chips Enough on here before. So,
okay.
So yeah, man. It's that 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever you would call it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's I've always said rock and roll's an incestuous business. Everybody, everybody's come across everybody at one time or another.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. And
Everybody knows everything.
when I reached out to you, I put on. You weren't quite sure who I was talking about. I was actually talking about Daryl Arnold. In Jackson,
Okay.
Jackson, he went by Dirty D back in the day when he was playing, and I think when he went out to moved out to L.A. and to Vegas for a little while, he just went by Daryl, So,
Right.
but now he's back in Jackson. He's doing Dirty Outlaw Entertainment and stuff. So, but
Yeah, I actually, when you mentioned that Dirty Outlaw and him by Daryl Arnold, I did know who you were talking about. I had
okay,
been in touch with. He had reached out to me like, I don't know, 6 months ago about some stuff. So yeah.
Okay,
Totally,
cool.
I knew he was that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I didn't know who Dirty D was.
I know. That's fine. So, but yeah, let's see. Let's get into Jetboy. The new album. Is it? I was looking up stuff. Is it out yet, or is it close?
No, so yeah, I was actually just talking to Billy and Bernie before I called you because I wanted to verify,
Oh,
dates
yeah.
and what I could and couldn't talk about yet
Yes.
because the record company's kind of they're kind of calling the shots right now. So
Mhm.
the record's done. The record actually was recorded October at the end of last year,
Oh, wow.
the end of 2017. Yeah, we were out in LA. We did it in October of 2017, and then they spent a lot of time mixing it through into the early part of this year. And initially it was going to come out this year, but Frontiers has got a lot of bands and different
Yes.
release schedules, and they want to make sure that they put it out at a time where they have the time to work it.
Mhm.
So the official release date, I don't want to say a specific date because there is a specific date, but it's always it can always
Yeah. Oh,
change.
yes.
So what I can say is the record will be coming out on Frontiers of January of 2019. So
Okay.
about 5 months down the road, the new record will be coming out.
Okay.
And the first single and video, which we just shot Tuesday, will be coming out next month. So
Oh, that's
fans can actually look for the first single and video in August.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you can you say the
Yeah.
name of the song?
I can. Yeah, the first
Okay.
song is the first single and video is called "Born to Fly,"
Born to
and
Fly.
that's
Okay.
probably "Born to Fly," and I believe that's going to be the name of the record as well. Jetboy,
Okay.
"Born to Fly."
Okay.
Yeah, so the record is "Born to Fly," and the first single and video are coming out in August, and it's called "Born to Fly" as well.
That's cool. I love Frontiers. I love what they're doing. I've interviewed, some of their bands. Michael Sweet, and of course, Chips Enough from Enough's Enough, and
Yeah,
they seem like they're
yeah,
working
for
with
sure.
a lot of cool bands. So that's awesome that Jetboy's with them. So, yeah.
Yeah, Frontiers is cool because with there's a bunch of reasons why I think the business is the way it's kind of fallen apart. But the great thing is Frontiers is the one label out there right now that's still keeping rock and roll alive and putting out new music from a lot of the people that we know and love from way back, whether it's like
Right.
Guns or Jizzy Pearl or Enough's Enough. They're the label that's continuously signing the bands that have been around that deserve to keep putting out music to the public, and so it's really cool to have a label that's still out there putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak, and
Exactly.
keeping that alive. So
Exactly.
I really dig that about them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're, and that's the thing. I mean, I know it's probably frustrating for the album to have been done back in October, and God, I know how record labels have always done that. That's nothing new, pushing stuff back and doing this and doing that. And I know from talking to other people that, Frontiers likes to put their own twist on it in the mixing and the mastering and stuff like that. So it's going to be good. I know that much.
Yeah. Yeah. I obviously I have it. I can't. It's frustrating because I can't. I've had it for a while and I can't play it for people, which is really hard.
Oh yes.
But eventually there is a link that we have where eventually we're going to be, hopefully soon, we're going to be able to send certain people the link where they can't download it, but they can at least hear it.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to the day that they say you can do that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I really want people to hear it. Not just myself, but the guys in the band that have been releasing Jetboy music for 40 years now. We all think it's the best thing Jetboy's ever put out, by far. So
Mhm.
I know, I really believe fans are going to really, really fucking dig this record.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do y'all play any of it when you're out on the road, or have you played any of it, or
Of the new stuff?
Yeah, new stuff.
Yeah, actually, we debuted 2 new songs in February at the 80s in the Park Festival in Florida.
Okay.
And then Saturday night in Denver, we actually played. We had 4 new tracks in the set list, but we played 3 of them. We had to cut the set a little short because we were running late. But we played 3 of the new tracks
Okay.
Saturday night. So "Born to Fly" we've played in Florida in February and Saturday in Denver. So yeah, so we're starting to play the new music for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's gotten a really great response.
That's what I was just fixing to ask. That's awesome. That's good. Especially if you had to sit on it and couldn't play any of it and couldn't do anything, that would be really hard, to be creative and to sit there and, twiddle your thumbs going, God, I couldn't imagine over a year.
It's actually...
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because we were like, when we heard the record, we're like, fuck, what are we going to do for our first single? So it was actually when we played 80s in the Park in Florida in February, we played Born to Fly, and the audience, obviously a new song, they'd never heard it, and by the time we were by the time we got to the end of the song and we're doing the chorus out, like, the fans were singing along and going nuts, and that's when it kind of came apparent to all of us that, oh man, this has got to be the first single, because just the fan reaction off of it the first time they heard it was so great that that's kind of what, the fans almost kind of picked the first single by their reaction to it the first time they heard it. So
that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So now did y'all play Monsters of Rock on the cruise also? Because I know that was right at the same time.
Yeah, we haven't yet. We originally we were supposed to play this year in February, and something with it was something between the booking agent and the contract or whatever. There was a mix-up, and in any event, but we are booked to play and are going to be playing the one coming up in February. We will be on that one.
Okay,
so
2019.
Looking forward to that. That's our February 2019 we'll be on the boat. That's our Jetboy's first official trip on Monsters of Rock cruise. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Now, I saw y'all had 2 dates, and one of them is, let me see. Let me find that again. I guess it's under Alive on y'all's website. Maybe? Yes, it is. Okay. O2 Academy in Sheffield. So Sheffield, United Kingdom, and London at the Underworld. Okay. So those are in September.
Yeah.
So y'all don't have anything
those
lined up for U.S. right now?
Well, no. Actually, that's one of the things it's good you mentioned, because Billy and Fern were like, make sure you mention these dates. So we just did Denver, and we just did the video, and then at the end of August, at the end of next month, we're going to be August 31st. We'll be playing in London at a place called Trash. We're going to be headlining on the 31st of August. We'll be headlining Trash in London. And then September 1st, we'll be at the HRH Festival in Sheffield, England, and there's a bunch of other bands playing that with us, LA Guns, Backyard Babies, which will be very cool. And then the following night, August 3rd, we'll be back headlining in London at the Underworld in London.
Right.
So anybody hearing this who's going to be out in England during those dates, please come down and join us. And then we did originally have something booked for when we got back, I think October 4th. Frontiers was going to do a big new music festival in Mesa, Arizona, but I guess I hear now that date has been pushed back, and it's possibly now going to be moved to Hollywood in the beginning of the year. So, but I'm sure once the record releases, there'll be a lot more dates being announced. So, keep looking at all your normal spots, jetboyrocks.com and all that stuff, and and I'm always posting stuff on my page. So,
now
so there'll be a lot more to come.
Oh yeah, most definitely, Ken. Now, I was just fixing to ask that. jetboyrocks.com. And also, where can they find y'all on? Is it just Jetboy on social media, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, if you just Google Jetboy on social media, there's a couple places that they can go. There's jetboyrocks.com. There's the Jetboy Facebook page. So yeah,
Twitter?
Those, and pardon me.
Are y'all on Twitter?
Yeah, you can go to Twitter. There's a Jetboy page on Twitter. So, all the usual places to get that kind of info.
Right.
And then, you can always go to, Billy Rose's page or Eric Stacy's page or Mickey Finn's page. I mean, I'm sure we'll all be announcing stuff as it comes as well.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, real quick here, you mentioned, back. I was talking to Ron Keel, and he mentioned something about that he was in Nashville with Steeler. Yngwie Malmsteen was playing, and
Right.
they decided to move to L.A. because they thought that's where the next big thing would happen. Of course, and that was in '81, and they made the album in '83. And LA's always been a haven for music. Even when Seattle was still LA, we had some stuff going on. But, everybody's been talking about Nashville is the new place. But a lot of you guys live in Vegas, and I know a lot of big bands record in Vegas, like Five Finger Death Punch and, different bands like that. Is there a scene in Vegas? Is there something developing, you think, or is it still the LA thing, or what?
Well, in my opinion, and I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen a lot of scenes. Like you said, LA always was the place that had scenes. I started hanging out at a young age of 13 on the streets of Hollywood, and back then in the late 70s, the club that was probably, in my opinion, the greatest rock and roll club ever in the history of music was a club called the Starwood in L.A., where everybody played from Aerosmith to UFO, Joan Jett, Cheap Trick. But, there's always been scenes in L.A., but to me, the last great L.A. scene really was that whole mid-'80s, late '80s Festus Cat Guns N' Roses LA Gun scene, and then they're just kind of, ever since then there hasn't really been a scene in LA. But I don't know exactly why everybody's moved to Vegas, other than the cost of living's really cheap here, rent's really cheap, gas is cheap, there's no traffic. There's a lot of things as far as that goes that make living here great. Okay. I also think it's only 3 hours from LA, so I think it's one of those things where slowly, when musicians from LA started moving here, like Brent Muscat, Steven Adler, and when people I knew started moving here, it's just eventually kind of LA's kind of been. I hate to say it, but it's been dead since that last great LA '80s scene.
Rode hard and put up with.
Prior to that, it's just not the same.
I know.
Back in the day, it had its late '70s scene. It had its early '80s scene around the Troubadour with Wasp and Motley Crue and Rat, and it had its mid '80s scene with Guns and Faster and all that. And since then, there hasn't really been a scene. And I think kind of towards the late '90s, 2000s, people started moving out here. I don't think for any particular reason, just cost of living and new people moving. And I wish I could say, there's this great scene out here, but there really isn't. There is to speak of. There's no real original music scene out here. There aren't like a bunch of original bands doing anything out here. It's a bunch of guys that people would know from bands they've done in the past, all living out here. But they're out here more or less because they can make a living playing music. But most of the time that they play out here, and I don't play much out here anymore, because when I first moved out here, I was doing it too, is guys get together and they learn a bunch of covers, and they get paid a decent amount of money to come out and do covers, and tourists come out here and they want to hear the covers, and
of course,
so the casinos and the hotels make it so you can make a good living out here. And so I think people that aren't living out here have kind of like a wrong impression that there's a scene happening out here. There's really not. There's so many people that live out here, and there are bands that are there's bands that are getting put together out here and doing things all over the world. Five Finger Death Punch, Hell Yeah, God Rest His Soul. What happened with Vinny? But
yes,
there were a lot of bands that have been coming out here, but it's not because there's a scene. It's not some scene that's being, pampered and growing up here. And it's funny that you mentioned Nashville, because, we moved out here for the cost of living, but I, for one, can't stand the heat. I freaking hate the heat, and it's going to be 115 here today.
Oh my
and so
God!
Yeah, like, so I'm begging my wife, we got to move. I've been here 3 years, and I can't handle this living on Mars friggin' heat. So we're actually thinking about moving to Nashville.
Okay.
So, yeah, because, and it's funny because a lot of people that are here or were here are moving to Nashville now. I mean, Vince Neil just moved to Nashville.
Yep.
Friend of mine, bass player from Skid Row, he lives out in Nashville.
Oh,
and
Rachel?
So, yeah,
Okay,
Rachel lives
cool.
in Nashville. And,
Lots of guys do.
Rob. Yeah, a lot of guys live there, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's also like Rob, the drummer from Skid Row, lives in Atlanta, which is 3 hours from Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So and Nashville's, it's always been a happening town. I mean, even back in the days when Faster went through there and toured, we always had a great time, and there's a vibrant music scene. And so I'm actually looking to move out there myself.
That's cool. Don't let it fool you. I'm from the South. I'm from Mississippi, right under Tennessee, and we have heat, but also it's most of the time it's 100% humidity. So
humidity,
so
yeah,
you can't sweat. I mean, it's just like it stays in you, and that makes people overheat. Way worse than the dry heat.
Yeah.
But I can still 115.
Yeah.
No way. That is just ridiculous.
Yeah. I do know that about the South. It's real muggy. And, I wouldn't move to Florida. I wouldn't move to Corpus Christi, Texas.
No.
And I know Nashville has its hot, muggy days, but it's just like, it's funny. These people, like, when it's 115, and people go, "Oh, but it's a dry heat." I'm like, when it's 115, I don't fucking care if it's dry or wet. It's just friggin', you could fucking light a match off my ass,
That's
and
right.
it's just too hot.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'd rather be where it's 90 degrees and fucking 80% humidity than where it's like 120 out and the tires of my car are melting in the driveway. It's just too fucking hot.
Exactly.
Period.
Well, Nashville, from what I'm hearing, it's not really in a rock scene per se, but there's more of a scene there because there's always been a country scene there. But now that's where all the big producers are moving to. Like you said, a lot of the big artists are moving to, and it seems like something could be building there. You never know. Ron, of course, lives in Sioux Falls, which is, might be 90 degrees there today, but, in a month it's going to be 20 with snow.
Right. Right.
So, but he still travels a lot to Nashville, being from there and stuff. So I don't know. I'm only 5 hours away from Nashville, so that's not too far from me. But
there you go.
I keep hearing stuff's going on, so we'll see.
Yeah. You and me both. And, to be honest with you, I would rather, when I'm not out of town rocking out with Jetboy, when I'm home, I would honestly rather live in Nashville and go find a bar band where I could just walk in and have a few beers with locals and play some Eagles and some fucking Stones and some country.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than Vegas, where if I want to go make money at night, I got to go down to one of the casinos on the Strip and play, Top 40 and Marcy's Playground and and Janet Jackson tunes and I'm just not. I know a lot of musicians are, and good for them, but that's just not my scene. I'm just not down for doing it for I'll pass on the $300-$400 a night playing for a bunch of tourists playing top 40. I'd rather drink a beer in downtown Nashville playing the Eagles and friggin' whatever and country.
Oh yeah, I totally understand. I wish somebody would. I could find where somebody played this kind of music, but I'm into Jerry Reed. I've always loved Jerry Reed. He's a funny guy, and he's a hell of a picker, and just the songs he sings, So, but
hell yeah, man, yeah.
Y'all have a good show coming up this Saturday in Vegas. If you're not out of town or going anywhere, it's going to be Stacy Blade's band. Electric Radio Kings.
Imperial Radio Kings. Electric Radio Kings.
Yeah, Electric Radio Kings, and then also Michael Grant and the Assassins are going to be playing with them. Michael was...
Oh, here in town?
Yeah, they're in town. Actually, Saturday night. They're in Los Angeles Friday, and then Saturday they're in Vegas. So yeah, if you're not doing anything,
cool.
I try to keep up with everybody,
Yeah, no doubt.
Spreading the word.
I'll have to. No, I appreciate it. I'll reach out to Stacy. That's funny. Stacy's girlfriend is actually my wife's best friend for forever.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Stacy and I had a band here for a little while called Angels in Vain, and I don't know. I think it was like a matter of too much too soon. We were everyone was calling it the next super group. Pumping it up real fast, and I don't know. It was like me and Stacy and Troy Patrick Farrell on drums, and I don't know. Just people were like getting excited, which was really cool. But it was like before we even were doing shows, like we went viral. And we're getting press from all over the world. And it just was like too much too soon, and it kind of imploded. But I've known Stacy for a long time. Great guy and great guitar player. So. Yeah, man, I'm happy for the stuff that's going on with him and his band, for sure.
Oh, yeah. That song is amazing, man, the one that's on the charts and stuff, just moving up. Sympathy for Me, and it's a great song. Love it. And I actually like Michael Grant's solo stuff. It's pretty good, too, man. I'm enjoying it. So,
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it yet, but
I've only heard one song, of course. I've been, I try to catch everybody's live stuff because a lot of bands do, or a lot of artists. I go live and be, in the mixing room or something and give a little, sound bite. This is, blah 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 coming on the new record. So that's always cool. But it's actually I think they released a single off of that album. Not sure who. I think it's independent.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I think it's independent. I don't know if they've, signed with anybody or not. But it's if you get a chance, just look at us, Michael Grant and the Assassins, and it's a new, new song. So
right on.
But
I'll definitely check it out.
And
I love
I'm
Michael's
going.
Playing,
I'm going Saturday night to see LA Guns here in Cincinnati. So.
Oh, cool.
So.
Right on.
Definitely go do that.
Cool, man.
So.
I know Johnny. Well, who's playing? I know Johnny Monaco isn't with them anymore. Who's playing guitar for them now? Do you know?
I don't know. Oh, wasn't that the guy that was with Us Enough?
Yeah, well, Johnny was with them, the guy from Us Enough, but I heard he left.
That I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like a month ago,
last I saw, of course, Michael. Left the band, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And of course, then Johnny, like you said, had joined, and I hadn't heard anything about that. So I don't know. It may just be Phil doing. Not Phil. Shit. Tracy doing. By itself. Who knows? But they're playing here Saturday night, and I'll find out.
Oh, cool. Right on.
So.
That's cool. We were actually supposed to be out in August. We were originally going to do a 3-week run, Jetboy and LA Guns, a West Coast run, and then unfortunately, they had that whole thing with Michael leaving in the lineup problem, and the tour kind of got scrapped. So I was looking forward to that, but I get it. Shit happens all the time. So, but yeah, I don't know. I know Johnny in 2007. Tammy's always had Faster with, he's like the lone original member, but in 2007 there was like a 20th anniversary of the first record coming out. Me, Brent Muscat, and Brett Bradshaw, the last original drummer that played on Whip and stuff, we went out and did a 20th anniversary tour as Faster Pussycat.
Nice.
And we had Todd Kearns, who everyone knows Todd from Slash's band, on guitar, and a really great singer named Kurt Froelich. We went out and did a 20th anniversary tour of Europe and played all over Germany and England and Italy and Scotland or wherever, and that was we had Bullet Boys and Enough's Enough out with us opening, so nice. And that's when Johnny was with Enough. So that's how I met Johnny, and real cool guy.
Okay.
Real
Okay.
sweetheart. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
August 1st, I'm going to see. We have lots of tours come through here. I'm going to see Pussycat August 1st, so that'll be cool.
Right on.
And then see what you call it, Paradise Kitty, which is the all-girl Guns N' Roses tribute band.
Oh, okay.
That ought to be pretty
right
cool. That'll be
Cool,
different.
man. Yeah, I'd
you
like
know.
to see that.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So, and then Don, I think Don Jameson's with them. The guy from what you call that
From the
metal
metal
show.
show.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
all right.
Cool.
Well, Eric,
Yeah.
Stacy, it has been
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
been great talking with you, man. All this stuff,
Thanks.
and everybody can check them out at jetboyrocks.com, Jetboy on social media, and you can download their stuff from iTunes, I know, and you can go to their site and buy CDs, and look out for that new album coming out in January.
On Frontiers.
Yeah, what is the name of that again? Fly. You said it may be the name
It's gonna be Born to Fly
Born
on
to Fly.
Frontiers.
Okay.
On Frontiers SRL in January, and the video and single August. And yeah,
Yes, August. That's
definitely.
right. Okay. All right, now is that later August or not sure yet? Just
I wish I had a date. I just been told for sure August. Probably around mid-August. Yeah,
Okay.
we just shot the video 2 days ago, so how the single's ready
Frontiers-
as long as
Yeah, Frontiers is pretty good about getting those videos out real quick. I know when Striper released their new album, man, videos were like bam, bam, bam. So so that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be out in mid-August, and it's going to be really cool. We shot it on the roof of the building in downtown LA the other day with the sun going down, and
Nice.
it's going to look bitchin'.
Hell
I
yeah.
look forward to seeing it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Eric. Damn it! I keep wanting to call you Stacy, but
It's okay. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
so anyway, like I said, it's been great. Everybody, check them out, Jetboy, and be looking for a tour, hopefully in the U.S. I guess maybe I'm sure after the new album comes out.
Yeah, next year for sure. We'll be hitting everywhere next year.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I will definitely get to one. And everybody have a great weekend. And Eric, this will be out in about probably 2 weeks. Not this Sunday, but the next Sunday. I usually put them out on Sundays, but I'll definitely send you a link and all that cool stuff. So
Yeah, cool. Yeah, keep in touch, and please let me know when it comes out. Send me the link so I can get it out to everybody. Boys,
I
the
sure
band.
will.
I'd love to see it.
Oh yeah, I sure
All
will.
right.
All right. Thanks, man.
Sounds awesome.
All right.
All right, you got it. You take care.
Hey, you too.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, that's all we have for today. I want to thank Eric for being on the show today and for being such an awesome guest. Had a hell of a good time interviewing him. That was awesome. I want to thank our sponsor, The Venue Cincinnati. Upcoming shows for August are August 3rd, Saving Abel, August 11th, Lita Ford, August 25th, Quiet Riot. I also want to throw a big shout out to my good friends over at Dirty Outlaw Entertainment. Check these guys out, especially on they're on Facebook and they're dirtyoutlawentertainment.com. They're a full service entertainment company. They got your booking, managing, and lots of other avenues. I want to give a shout out to some of their bands: Ravenscroft, 12 Stones, Lillian Axe, Sweet Tooth Jones, Blood Life. They're all on Facebook. Remember to share, subscribe, and like all things Blevins Nation. We will talk soon.